to another episode of Maniacs of History. Today, I'm trying something new. So far, we've done like regimes and like businesses, like the startup and atrocities of some businesses. So I'm gonna do an event today. We had never done just like a single. Well, it's a war. It's not a single event. It happened over a long period of time. We never done an event before, so today for Maniacs of History, we're doing the Spanish American War. Right. Dang, I lost the video. 1 second.
In the last...
There we go. I don't know very much about this. I've done War of 1812s, obviously Civil War, obviously the American Revolutionary War. I guess it's between this and the French and Indian War that I know the least amount about. So I'm excited to see exactly what went down. Is it? Of course it's not. Love that. Yes, sir.
Years of the 19th century, tension was building in the Caribbean. American newspapers are filled with grisly reports of Spanish atrocities against the people of Cuba who are struggling for independence. U.S. businessmen and expansionist politicians also see practical opportunities in Spain's struggles, great power status, and an empire for the United States. It's the Spanish-American War. Throughout the 19th century, the United States became interested in increasing its influence over the nearby island of Cuba. Spain had ruled the island for centuries, but by the 1800s, Spain was a power in decline. In the 1810s, most former Spanish colonies in the Americas gained independence, but not Cuba, and Washington worried that another European power might sweep in and seize the territories. So President James Monroe introduced what later became known as the Monroe Doctrine in 1823. The U.S. pledged to protect the political status quo in the Americas. American businessmen looked to Cuba's economic potential as well, especially southern cotton and sugar plantation owners. In the following decades, Cubans rose up in several revolutions against Spanish rule, often under the slogan of Cuba Libre, Free Cuba. Spain sent tens of thousands of troops to suppress them. As U.S. interest in Cuba increased, so did tensions with Spain. The U.S. offered to buy the island on several occasions, and newspapers and school textbooks portrayed Spain as backward and cruel. In 1873, war was barely avoided after Spanish authorities executed 58 sailors, including U.S. citizens, for alleged gun running in support of the Cuban revolutionaries. In 1895, Cubans again rose up against Spanish rule, this time under leaders José Martí, Maximo Gómez, and Antonio Maceo, who had founded the Cuban Revolutionary Party from the U.S. a few years earlier. They and many islanders were unhappy with Spanish corruption, economic decline, partially caused by U.S. tariffs on sugar, and the suspension of civil liberties. The rebels used scorched earth and guerrilla tactics, ambushing Spanish troops and putting plantations to the torch to force the Spanish to leave. The strategy seemed to be working, as Spanish Captain General Martínez Campos admitted. "I have failed, but no force can crush this rebellion. There is a spirit at work here which defies the bayonet. I predict that soon this island will be lost to us forever." In response, the Spanish sent General Valeriano Weyler, whose repressive tactics earned him the nickname the Butcher. Through his policy of reconcentration, 100,000 Cubans would die in filthy and disease-ridden camps. The U.S. tabloid media, the so-called Yellow Press, covered the atrocities, both real and imagined, in grisly detail. New York Journal owner William Randolph Hearst responded to criticism that his paper exaggerated Spanish actions. "It would be difficult to exaggerate conditions in Cuba. We merely took a little dramatic license. Our editors were only serving the interests of the public. Americans hate Spain, so we gave them something to stew about." So Cuba was racked by revolution and Spanish repression.
That it might
while the
be
United
all
States
propaganda you're pushing
Many Americans
against Spain?
demanded action, but Washington was
why
hesitant. When President William
Americans hate
McKinley was
Spain.
elected in
You ever think about
1897, he favored a diplomatic solution. The same year McKinley became president, a more liberal Spanish government came to power in Madrid. They recalled General Weyler and promised reforms in Cuba to calm critics in Spain and in the U.S. Cayetano Ballina, a blacksmith from San Adriano, reported on scenes that he witnessed in Spain that showed the impact of the war. "Yesterday I was in Bijo to buy some necessary stuff and saw a horrible scene at the port. It was covered in coffins that were being unloaded from the ships. How many people will have to die before this damn war that is harming the nation so much will end? At this point, though, the Cuban revolutionaries were no longer responsive to vague Spanish promises of reform, and they demanded full independence. The crisis rapidly came to a head in 1898. In early February, Hearst's newspapers released a leaked memo from the Spanish ambassador to the US, which was starkly critical of President McKinley. McKinley is a weak bidder for the admiration of the crowd, a would-be politician who tries to leave the door open behind himself while keeping on good terms with the jingos of his party. But even more incendiary was the sinking of a US ship, the Maine, in the port of Havana. Some Americans suspected the ship was sunk by the Spanish, but in reality, it probably sank because of an internal explosion. In any case, the combination of 269 US lives lost on the Maine and the diplomatic insult piled pressure on McKinley. He resisted calls for war, but business owners, media pundits, and other politicians
Okay,
demanded action.
that should be good.
The Secretary of the Navy and
Fingers
future
crossed.
President Theodore Roosevelt did not hold back in his criticism.
Hopefully their sound isn't copyrighted,
McKinley has the
because it's
backbone
been
of a
super loud
true
for so long.
The president was facing a potential rebellion within his own Republican
Hopefully
Party,
their sound
so he
isn't
gave into the
copyrighted.
pressure on April 11th. He asked Congress for
Yeah,
authorization to
that's
intervene
better.
and sent Spain an ultimatum demanding that troops evacuate Cuba and give up Spanish sovereignty over the island. The Spanish accepted some points of the ultimatum, but they refused on the issue of Cuban independence. On April 21st, 1898, the U.S. started a blockade of Cuba, so the Spanish declared war on the United States April 23rd. The U.S. also declared war 2 days later. What Senator John Hay would describe
Remember when we used to do
as a
that?
splendid little war had begun.
Declare war
Cuban
and
crisis
go
led to
through
the start of the
Congress
Spanish-American War in April
back in the good
1898.
old days.
America was at war, but its goals were not yet entirely clear, and the U.S. military was not entirely prepared. American leaders argued about what they wanted to achieve from the war against Spain. Expansionists suggested the U.S. annex Spanish possessions, but anti-imperialists opposed this idea. Eventually, Senator Henry Teller demanded an amendment denying any U.S. intention to annex Cuba. This move angered expansionists, but Congress approved it with little opposition. Regardless of U.S. war aims and high public expectations, the actual military situation was less promising for the Americans. In April 1898, the U.S. Army had just 28,000 men, and the larger state militias were poorly trained and not suitable for overseas
Sheesh.
duty. As a result, the government announced a huge military spending increase and a call for volunteers. The War Department wanted 125,000 new troops, but by August, 290,000 had signed up. One of the most famous volunteers was Teddy Roosevelt himself. He resigned his Navy position to join the 1st Volunteer Cavalry, known as the
Wow.
Rough Riders. U.S. Officer John H. Parker described the unusual nature of the unit. The Rough Riders were the most unique aggregation of fighting men ever gathered together in any army. There were cowboys, bankers, brokers, merchants, city clubmen, and society dudes.
I think I want to do one on them
Second
just in
command of the
particular. They
competition,
seem like they would
every
live.
man determined to get into the fight. The flood of U.S. volunteers also created problems. Training camps became overcrowded, spreading diseases like typhus and scarlet fever. Equipping all the men was also an issue.
Wow.
Although federal troops had adopted the modern Norwegian-designed bolt-action Krag-Jørgensen rifle, many U.S. soldiers were still equipped with the obsolete M1873 trapdoor Springfield, which fired black powder cartridges. There was also a lack of tropical equipment, so some soldiers wore woolen winter uniforms. Meanwhile, the Spanish had 130 to 160,000 men, although there was a great divergence in morale and in training. But the Spaniards were armed with the excellent M1893 Mauser rifle and smokeless
So
ammunition.
we were outgunned, outmanned. We're all sick, don't got
Time to
guns.
train and mobilize, and so immediate attention turned to the navies. With the U.S. Navy blockading the island, Spanish Admiral Pascual Cervera y Topete sailed for Cuba from Cadiz. Despite the strong Spanish naval tradition, Admiral Cervera was not optimistic about his chances. The U.S. Navy had rapidly expanded and modernized in recent years, with steel-plated cruisers and battleships faster and better armed than
Honestly,
any Spanish
that's probably why we became such a superpower.
to our country not
So we have an
only
ocean on the left and right,
the
and
exploitation
like
of our beliefs. I am very uneasy about
at
this.
worst,
I
top
ask
3
myself
Navy
if it is right
since
to make myself an accomplice in an adventure which
1800s.
will surely cause the total ruin of Spain. And for what purpose?
We have
To
a
defend
great
an island which
military
was
advantage
ours,
over
but
like
belongs to us
everybody.
no more?
And Canada's
Lose
weak,
all our wealth
military
and
wise.
enormous
Mexico
number of young men
is
in
weak
defense of
military
what is now
wise.
no more than a
So we're
romantic
really
idea.
like landlocked
The
with
Spanish and US
allies.
navies were on a collision course in the Caribbean, but the first shot
Well,
of the US
advantages.
would end up being
North,
fired
south,
16,000
east, and west.
kilometers away near a different Spanish possession in a different ocean. The Philippine Islands had been a Spanish colony since the 1570s and also saw a series of uprisings in the 19th century, as well as the growth of a short-lived peaceful independent
Oh,
movement
really?
known as La Liga Filipina. Unlike Cuba, however, before the
I was
war,
wondering about the
Philippines
Philippines.
attention, as President McKinley admitted to a reporter. I can't tell you within 500 miles where the Philippine Islands are located. And what's more, I don't care. They are of no concern to the United States.
Because I know they're not like a territory, but we have a lot of influence there now, and I never knew why.
Potential threat to U.S. interests, according to Washington. Even before the declaration
Probably
of war,
didn't know, but
Commodore
didn't
George
care too much to
Lee's
remember.
Asiatic fleet was ordered to prepare for operations and contact potential allies among the Filipinos. In 1896, a revolt of largely Tagalog-speaking Filipinos broke out in Luzon under the command of Emilio Aguinaldo. After a bloody guerrilla campaign, the Spanish cut a deal with the rebel leader in exchange for $850,000, over $30 million in today's money, and promises of reform. Aguinaldo went into exile. But by 1898, only half the money had been paid, no reforms had been implemented, and so he continued to agitate rebels in the Philippines from abroad. Dewey now contacted Aguinaldo and asked him to help a U.S. invasion. Aguinaldo accepted, but the terms of their agreement would cause long-term issues. Aguinaldo claimed that Dewey and Colonel Wood promised him a Filipino republic after victory. The Americans later said they made no such promise, and historians are still divided on the issue. Regardless,
Wow.
in late April 1898, Aguinaldo was contacted
That sounds about
for a
us.
renewed attack, while Dewey moved into the Spanish fleet in Manila.
A crazy sounds like a crazy government would do that.
Pessimistic.
Not like ours. Our government is great.
5 unprotected cruisers and 5 gunboats. Although he had the protection of coastal guns and the harbor, his mines were defective and the U.S. guns outranged his. Montojo expected defeat, so he planned to fight in shallow water, as he explained to a colleague. When the Americanos sink our ships, the masts will protrude out of the water. Our sailors can climb to the top and wait in safety until rescued. Otherwise, everyone might drown. In the early hours of May 1st, Dewey's 4 protected cruisers and 2 gunboats slipped into Manila Harbor, where they engaged the Spanish at 5:40 a.m. The Spanish ships opened fire with an ineffective broadside.
5:40 a.m. is kind of nuts.
The Americans attacked the Spanish fleet 5 times, and the Spanish flagship Reina Cristina even tried to charge
That's
the U.S.
like
vessels.
really the crack of dawn.
By mid-morning,
You're gonna be done before the sun comes up.
Some Spanish ships ran themselves ashore, and overall, 381 Spaniards were killed or wounded. U.S. casualties are not entirely clear, but were very low. Some claim only 1 American sailor died, and that from a heart attack. Dewey's victory was the first of the war for the U.S. and made him into a national hero, but he couldn't occupy Manila. Privately, many U.S. officers were disappointed with their performance. Of the roughly 6,000 shells that they'd fired, only 145 hit their targets. By mid-May, the U.S. was building up an invasion force in San Francisco.
Yeah, that accuracy is not it.
Before the U.S. fleet arrived, British, French, German, and Japanese ships arrived to observe the situation and potentially take advantage of
What do
any
they
Spanish
shoot?
loss.
Like, what type of cannonballs
So
do
with
they
the
shoot?
Spanish Asiatic fleet defeated and Manila surrounded, attention shifted back to Cuba. By May 19th, Admiral Cervera slipped past the U.S. fleet and entered Santiago de Cuba Bay. But then a U.S. fleet under Rear Admiral William T. Sampson trapped the Spanish in the bay, which cleared the way for American amphibious landings. With the bulk of Spanish forces around Havana, the U.S. strategy would focus on an invasion of the southeast coast.
I love this diagram of
American
the
troops could
sea
then join
fighting.
the Cuban rebels and threaten the fleet in Santiago. General William Shafter was in command of the U.S. invasion force, but at 140 kilograms and suffering from gout, he was not an ideal choice for the tropical climate. He did, however, have experience in the
Big
U.S.
boy.
Civil War and in the wars against Native Americans. In early June, U.S. Marines established a coaling station at Guantanamo Bay before the main U.S. invasion force arrived on June 22nd. Their landings were uncontested, with the only casualties resulting from accidents. Instead, the U.S. troops were received by Cuban rebel commander Calixto Garcia. Despite initial friendly greetings, relations quickly soured. The Cubans were in a more difficult state than the Americans expected them to be, based on U.S. media illustrations. Many officers, including Roosevelt, were extremely critical. The Cuban insurgents were a crew of as utter tatterdemalions as human eyes ever looked on.
Tatterdemalions is crazy.
All stages of dilapidation. It was evident at a glance that they would be of no use in serious fighting, but it was hoped that they might be of service in scouting. From a variety of causes, however, they turned out to be nearly useless even for that. The Americans also thought that the Cubans were cowards, since the rebels were reluctant to face the Spaniards in open battle. Garcia protested against these charges in a letter to Shafter. We are a poor, ragged army, as ragged and poor as was the army of your forefathers in their noble war for independence. But like the heroes of Saratoga and Yorktown, we respect our cause too deeply to disgrace it with barbarism and cowardice. These American attitudes towards the Cuban fighters are not fully justified. The rebels were mostly an irregular guerrilla.
I mean, that's a good reply.
Spanish troops. Despite Cuban misgivings, Shafter ordered his troops toward the village of
Sounds like they can outgun most Spaniards.
The Americans advanced in two columns.
Y'all can barely outgun the Spaniards. Y'all expect them to?
Dismounted cavalry moving through the jungle. Soon they ran into Spanish troops and a firefight ensued. Although the Spaniards' smokeless powder gave them an edge in the fighting, after a 2-hour battle, the Spaniards made a planned withdrawal. As they did so, Shafter, who was a former Confederate general, reportedly shouted that he had the, quote, "damn Yankees on the run." The Americans had defeated the Spanish in the first Cuban combat, but their commanders were divided. Admiral Sampson wanted Shafter to clear the coastal batteries around Santiago for the Navy, but instead, Shafter decided to attack the city himself. For Shafter, speed was the key to taking Santiago, since disease had already begun to spread among the U.S. troops. Blocking the way to the city, however, were Spanish positions on the San Juan Heights. The Spanish had fortified the village of El Caney and had prepared trenches, blockhouses, and artillery on Kettle Hill and San Juan Hill. The U.S.
Like I said, these diagrams absolutely cook.
General Henry Lawton to attack El Caney and force out the defenders in just 2 hours. Meanwhile, the remainder of the force would attack the heights and pin down any Spanish reinforcements on their way to El Caney. Once through, Lawton planned to pursue the retreating Spaniards all the way to Santiago.
How many men did they send?
Lawton began the main attack at around 6:30 a.m., but immediately became clear that he'd underestimated the Spanish defenders. Despite being outnumbered 10-1, the Spaniards held off U.S. troops for 8 hours. With no breakthrough imminent, more U.S. troops moved in, including the Rough Riders. But
did send a lot of whatchamacallit.
Most of the
Did
U.S.
send a
guns
lot
were
of men.
obsolete, and Spanish shrapnel had already suppressed several gun crews and shot down an American observation balloon. The U.S. did have an experimental dynamite gun, which used compressed air to fire explosives, but it was stuck in a nearby gorge. Spanish sharpshooters and fire from the trenches bogged down the advancing U.S. troops. As casualties mounted, the Americans tried another novel weapon to break the deadlock: Gatling guns on lightweight wheeled mounts. U.S. officers sent these 10-barreled, hand-cranked weapons up to the front to suppress the Spanish trenches. The covering fire of the Gatling guns allowed U.S. infantry to get within assaulting range of the Spanish positions, and the sound of the rapid fire also raised U.S. morale. U.S. Lieutenant John Gatling Gun Parker commanded the Gatling detachment and later wrote florid praise for the weapon. At this time, the Gatling gun began to talk. It spoke very voluble and eloquent orations, which...
So this is the war. I knew the Gatling gun helped us a lot in some war. It was this one.
At around 1 p.m., American forces stormed the hills. The Rough Riders, along with the African-American Buffalo Soldiers of the 9th and 10th Cavalry, attacked Kettle Hill, while the 1st Division took on San Juan Hill. They broke through the barbed wire, entered the Spanish trenches, and cleared them in close quarters fighting. First Kettle Hill fell, then San Juan, which made the Spanish position in El Caney impossible to hold. The Spanish counterattacked in the afternoon, but the intense U.S. rifle and Gatling fire stopped them. The surviving Spanish forces retreated to Santiago. The storming of the San Juan also cemented Roosevelt's reputation as a daring war hero, and the order to storm the hills is often attributed to him. However, although Roosevelt took part in the assault, the actual order came from Lieutenant Colonel John Miley. The U.S. capture of the San Juan positions marked the end of significant fighting in Cuba. On July 3rd, Admiral Cervera, fearing assault from both land and sea, attempted to escape the harbor, but the superior U.S. Navy destroyed his fleet. Spanish Lieutenant Joaquim Bustamante recalled the effect of the American guns.
Damn, no peace treaties?
Cut the boatswain in half, and part of his body fell into the
No surrendering?
And as a result, we lost partial rudder control and had to clear the body from the steering control line. Next, a shell destroyed the steam governor. A third exploded on the poop deck magazine and destroyed it. On the 17th, Santiago surrendered after a short
Okay. Yeah, I was about to say, they didn't do no survivors? But nah, we had some surrenders.
Cost 385 American and 800 Spanish lives in combat, and about 5,000 Americans would eventually die from disease. With Cuba secured for the United States, American attention now shifted back to the Philippines. In late June, U.S. troops captured the Spanish-held island of Guam before landing 10,000 men at Cavite in the Philippines on July 1st. The Spanish had tried to mobilize local civilians to support their cause, but Aguinaldo's Filipino rebels had far more support and the loyalty of many Filipino soldiers who were supposed to be serving Spain. In fact, at this point, the rebels had already surrounded Manila, but their relationship with the Americans was cool. Some U.S. businessmen and politicians were calling for the annexation of the Philippines, which worried the Filipinos. A concerned Aguinaldo ignored U.S. advice and announced Filipino independence on June 18th. He also wrote to the U.S. Consul General. I have read in the New York Evening Journal that I am getting a big head and not behaving as I promised you. In reply, I ask, Why should America expect me to outline my policy, present and future, and fight blindly for her interests when America will not be frank with me? Tell me this. Am I fighting
He makes good
for
points.
protection or independence? It is for America to say, not me. With relations worsening, U.S. General Wesley Merritt moved ahead without support from Aguinaldo's insurgents. By August 6th, he was discussing surrender with the Spanish Governor General Fermín Jaudenes y Alvarez. Jaudenes wanted to surrender to the Americans, but was concerned about punishment for not contesting the city. In the end, he requested a quasi-staged battle to give a pretense of resistance. Merritt agreed, and on August 13th, U.S. guns bombarded an unmanned Spanish fort. Even so, in some places the fight was indeed real, and 6 U.S. troops and an unverified number of Spaniards were killed. U.S. volunteer soldier George Telfer wrote about the charade. We call it a comic opera war. There was really no need of killing anybody. The Spanish Army Code makes death the penalty for an officer who surrenders his post without a fight. So you see, there had to be a fight, but it was not where it was likely to damage property. In reality, a staged battle was unnecessary. Unbeknownst to both sides in Manila, Spain and America had already signed a ceasefire in Washington. In the final peace treaty signed in December, Spain ceded Guam and Puerto Rico to the United States. Cuba became independent, although a U.S. military administration would oversee the island for the time being. The U.S. also bought the Philippines from Spain for $20 million, over $700 million today, and Spanish administrators would temporarily stay in place. McKinley claimed that U.S. control would bring infrastructure and peace to the islands, although commercial interests, concerns of other nations seizing the Philippines, and McKinley's religious convictions more likely drove the decision. So the United States had defeated Spain
His religious
and acquired new
convictions.
territories in the Caribbean and the Pacific, but many Filipinos were not interested in American rule. The peace deal, which excluded the Cubans and Filipinos, was the last straw for Filipino rebel Aguinaldo. On January 23, 1899, Aguinaldo approved the Constitution for an independent Philippine Republic, and Filipino forces around Manila rose up against the Americans on February 4th. Aguinaldo was clear as to his reasons. It is my unavoidable duty to maintain the integrity of the national honor and that of the army so unjustly attacked by those who, posing as our friends and liberators, attempted to dominate us in place of the Spaniards. The revolutionaries were no match for U.S. forces, but they retreated into the mountains and began to wage a guerrilla war. By summer, 35,000 U.S. troops were attempting to suppress the so-called Philippines insurrection. By June 1901, Filipino fighters had launched 1,000 attacks against U.S. forces. U.S. soldier George Telfer described the nature of the jungle fighting. The enemy opened on us. We would lay down and fire, then get up and advance. As we advanced, the enemy would retire, and it became a foot race. The native can run faster than we can, and we could not get within 1,000 yards of it. We halted every half hour and rested. We burned every house we passed. This kind of U.S. repression became commonplace. General Jacob Smith ordered his troops to turn Luzon into a, quote, howling wilderness by moving civilians into concentration camps. American troops arrested...
Damn, so we didn't just give it up? Give them their freedom? Nah, we had to...
...captured Aguinaldo himself. His movement had been defeated, and his own reputation damaged because he executed rival revolutionary leaders. He took an oath of allegiance to the United States and disbanded the Philippine Republic. Republican Filipinos, though, continued to resist U.S. rule into 1902, while a separate rebellion of Muslim Filipinos continued even longer. The Philippine conflict claimed the lives of 5,000 U.S. troops, 20,000 Filipino revolutionaries, and 250,000 Filipino civilians, many from disease and starvation. The Spanish-American War was short and one-sided, but it had...
I'm sorry, what? Can we go back for that?
The Philippine conflict claimed the lives of 5,000 U.S. troops, 20,000 Filipino revolutionaries, and 250,000 Filipino civilians, many from disease and starvation.
10 times the amount of civilian deaths than
But it had important consequences. For Cubans, it meant
the military casualties.
weakened by decades of U.S. military interventions. For the Philippines, it meant nearly 50 years of American rule. The war also saw the end of the remnants of Spain's once global empire. They even sold their remaining Pacific Island possessions to Germany in 1899. Some Spanish intellectuals of the so-called Generation of 98 promoted liberal reforms for the country after the war, while many military officers turned to more conservative views as a result of the defeat. The United States came out of the war much more confident on the world stage, and it felt free to intervene in the Americas whenever it saw fit. Some even felt that the war brought the country closer together after the Civil War and racial strife of the previous decades, although these divisions persisted. America also had a new overseas empire, one that companies like Bethlehem Steel and the United Fruit Company would...
I don't know if y'all caught what he said, but shouts out to my Rome documentary. Right there. There, if you want to watch it. I said nothing brings a country together like going to war. Nah. It's over the other way. But yeah, nothing brings country together like going to war. And it worked for us, kind of. Like he said, the division still persisted, but I'm sure there's a lot of patriotism going.
For others, it was the beginning of the age of American empire. One of the reasons we made this video is because we wanted to show how the Spanish-American War catapulted the United States onto the world stage. This was a U.S. global presence that would expand greatly by 1945 and the end of World War II, when the U.S. fought in the Philippines again, and of course also in Europe. Speaking of which, we made a 5-episode, 3.5-hour documentary series about the Allied Rhineland campaign called Rhineland 45, where we show the Allied push into Germany and the last set-piece battle on the Western Front in World War II. We even visited the battlefields and interviewed a German veteran, plus we collaborated with experts like David Williams.
I'm not going to watch it on stream because it's super duper long, but I'm definitely going to watch this.
Any punches and showed the war in a way that's not possible on YouTube. So if you want to see Rhineland 45, you can watch it on Nebula. Nebula is a streaming service that we've built with other creators where we don't have to worry about hard-hitting content getting demonetized. We want to thank Mark Newton for his help with this episode. As usual,
Lame.
all our sources for the episode.
Lame. I mean, get y'all bag or whatever, but I'm not gonna be watching that. Man, that was good. I think I need more people in the chat to help me decide because I know I like learning wars. Like I said, I've done War 1812, World War II, World War I, American Independence War. I've been watching documentaries about American wars left and right. But let me know if y'all are into that, because there's a lot we could go into. So if you're down for some American wars or even European wars and African wars, if y'all down for war documentaries as well, like this video so I'll know that it's something y'all into. Subscribe to the channel for more, and I'll catch y'all back probably Saturday for One Piece anime. Not Friday, because there's no manga, but yeah. We'll stream One Piece on Saturday. So if you're watching One Piece anime, come through Saturday night. We'll be there. If not, I'll catch y'all back next Wednesday.